Hello everyone, welcome to today's video where we're going to be making the cutest little candy corn. I named her Callie corn, Callie candy corn. This is pretty much a no-sew pattern, except for we have to stitch the little top of her head closed a little bit after the last row and then sew on a little bow. But other than that, it's really simple, easy, almost no sew project. And let's get started with what we need for materials. So for this, I'll be using the size 6 chunky blanket yarn in orange and yellow and white, and then you'll need a little bit for a bow, just a tiny bit, and then you'll need a tiny bit of like pink and red for cheeks and mouth, or whatever colors you like. You could make the mouth in black or whatever. You could do cheeks in a darker pink, whatever you like. So that is it for yarn. And then let's see, what else will we be using? A size J crochet hook. This is 6mm. And some little safety eyes and scissors and a yarn needle. And the last thing is a little handful of stuffing. And that is it. So if y'all are ready to get started, then let's get started. So we're gonna start out with our hook and the yellow blanket yarn. So with our hook and our yellow blanket yarn, we're going to just make a little slip knot. And then we're just going to chain 2. 1 and a 2. Now in the second chain from our hook, we're going to put 7 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And if your loop opened up a little bit while you were crocheting into it, that's okay. Just tug your tail a little bit to close it up. And then we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first single crochet there. And I'm going to count mine back to make sure I'm going in the right place. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. You can always use a stitch marker too. That's super smart because sometimes it's hard to see with this fluffy yarn. All right, now for round 2, we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of our single crochets around. So in this first one, here's a 1 and a 2. In the next one, here's a 3 and a 4. In the next one, we've got our 5 and our 6. Then we've got 7 and 8. In the next one, here's 9 and a 10. And the next one, 11 and a 12. And then our last 2, here's 13 and a 14. And now once again, we'll slip stitch into the top of our first one. And that is the end of round 2. Now for round 3, we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to be putting 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 in the next one. And we'll repeat that around with 1 in the next one, then 2 in the next one, and on until we have 21 single crochets in this round. So here's a 1. And then in the next one we do 2 and a 3. So both of those 2 and 3 both go in that stitch. In the next one we're just going to do 1. This makes 4, and in the next one we put 2. So there's 5 and a 6 go in that next one. In the next one we're doing 1 stitch. That makes 7. In the next one we're going to put 8 and 9. 8 and a 9. In the next one is 1 stitch. That makes 10, and then the next one goes 11 and 12. And this one goes 13, and the next one goes 14 and 15. And the next one we put 1, that's 16, and the next one we put 17 and 18. And the next one goes 19. And then the last one, we put our 20 and our 21. And once again, we'll slip stitch into our very first single crochet. Oh, where are you? Right there. All right, and now we are ready for round 4. Now for this one, we're going to chain 1. In this round, we're going to be working in the back loops only. So if you look at your little stitches, you've got 2 loops on the top of every single crochet, and you're going to be going into the back loop only. So instead of putting a stitch there, you'd put it right there. And that's going to help it to kind of turn upwards on our little candy corn. So this is the bottom, and we're starting on the sides now, working upwards. So for this round, we're going to be doing 5 single crochets, and then 1, we're going to single crochet 2 together. Okay, so let's start with our 5 single crochets in the back loop only. We're gonna go, oh, did we do a chain 1 here? Yes, we did, very good, okay. I'm talking too much, okay. We're doing a single crochet, 1, back loop only, single crochet, there's 2, back loop only, single crochet, there's 3, back loop only, single crochet, there's 4, back loop only, single crochet, there's 5. Now we're going to do 2 together. So to do that, we're going to stick our hook into the back loop only, draw up a loop. In the next stitch, back loop only, draw up a loop, and we're going to yarn over and draw through all of them. So that's a single crochet, 2 together. Now we're going to repeat that. We're doing the 5 single crochets and then a single crochet, 2 together in back loops only. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and 5, and now we're going to do 2 together. So back loop, draw up a loop, back loop, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3 loops. Now we're going to repeat that one more time, doing the 5 single crochets and the single crochet 2 together. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and 5. And now we're going to do our single crochet 2 together. Insert your hook, draw up a loop. In the next stitch, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. And now we're all finished with this row. We're going to slip stitch to our very first one. Slip stitch. All right, and you can see it's probably started turning up a little bit. So instead of building our circle out, we've built it up. So we're starting on our side of Little Miss Calicorn. Now for round 5, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around, and that's all. So we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to put a single crochet in each stitch around. So we should have 18 all together. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. And then we can slip stitch to the top of our very first one once again. And now we are ready for round 6. So for round 6, we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then single crochet 2 together. Let me loosen up my yarn here. There, oh dear, I just dropped it on the floor. It's fine, okay. So we're gonna single crochet 1. Oh dear. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to single crochet 2 together. So insert, draw up a loop, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3 loops. We're going to repeat that. We're going to do the 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 together. Insert your hook, draw up a loop, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. Now we're going to do it one last time. 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then do the 2 together. Insert, draw up a loop, insert, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Now we're back to our very first one, but we're going to change colors. So I like to just cut my yarn, chop. And now we're going for orange. So grab your orange yarn and we're going to slip stitch into our very first stitch, but when we do, we're going to pull up our orange and just slip stitch with your orange. And now we're ready to begin with our new color. And I like to put the ends together and just crochet over them for this first round. Oh, and with the orange, we're going to chain 1 so that we can start round 7. All right, so for round 7, we're going to just single crochet in each stitch around, and we should have 15 single crochets all together. So in your first space, there's 1. In the next space, there's 2. Here's 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm going to stop crocheting over the ends because I think I've got them good enough. Here's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, here is 13, 14, and 15. Now we can slip stitch to the top of our very first one. And now for round 8, we're going to chain 1. And now we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches and then single crochet 2 together. So here is 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to insert our hook, draw up a loop. In the next one, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. Now we're going to repeat that with our 3 single crochets. Here's a 1, here's a 2, and here's a 3, and then single crochet 2 together, insert your hook, draw up a loop, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3, and then one last time with our 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and now single crochet 2 together. So insert, draw up a loop, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3, and then we can slip stitch to the top of our very first one. And round 8 is finished. Now for round 9, we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to single crochet in each stitch around. So we should have 12 single crochets. So here's 1 and 2, here's 3 and 4, here's 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And now we're going to change colors again. So we can cut our orange yarn. Oh dear, yipes. Cut our orange yarn, and we're going to slip stitch with our white. So insert your hook into that first little single crochet and pull on through with a white and chain 1. But now, before we go too much further, I'm going to flip her over so that our hook and our working stitches are in the back, because we're going to put a face on the front of her. And you could put the face there if you want to, but I like to put it on the front where we don't have all the slip stitches and everything, because I just think it's like a cleaner finish. So we're going to put her cute little face right there. So grab your little safety eyes, and this is where you'll need just a tiny bit of pink and a tiny bit of red for your little cheeks and your little mouth. But you can get really creative and make your face however you want to, but I'm going to take this out for now so it's not in my way. There we go. Now here's how I do it. I put the safety eyes between rounds 8 and 9, so those were the last 2 that we just did. So I take my little eyes, and between 8 and 9, so here's 9 and here's 8, so it'd be somewhere in there. And I like to just make sure that I'm in the middle of a stitch though. I feel like it kind of holds the eye on better, because if you put this eye in between 2 stitches like this, it can just like pop right through. So you could also maybe put a little dab of glue gun or something on there, but yeah, they're pretty small, and this is big yarn with big stitches and a big hook, so they could push right through. But if you put it like right in the center of a single crochet, I feel like it stays a little better. So right between 8 and 9, and about 1 to 2 stitches apart. But again, this is all up to you. You can do yours however you like. It's really fun to just, personalize the face to however you like it. And make sure I did not put that in between stitches. Okay, and then the little cheeks, I like to put right below the eyes, 1 stitch across, and then the mouth right below that, about 1 stitch apart. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of pink because I only need a little bit for the cheeks. And you can use a needle if you want to, or you can just use a hook to pull it through. But I think maybe I'll use a needle. And I think I will fast forward this video a little bit because again, the way that you do the face is all up to you, but I'll kind of show you how I do it, but I'll kind of go fast because otherwise you could watch me do this forever, because it takes me a while to get it just right. Okay, and my cheeks are not perfectly symmetrical, but I'm gonna roll with it. Once you got all the things in place exactly where you want it, then you just want to make sure that you secure your yarn with a little knot here, and the cheeks too. And yeah, you just play around and have fun making your little Callie corn face however you want. There we go. Very cute. Okay. Now we're ready to move on a little bit. I'm going to get rid of all these. And now we've got our hook again, and we're going to continue on with our white yarn. How was that? Like that? Okay. Now we're going to be doing a single crochet in the next two, and then a single crochet two together. So we'll push all these ends in there. And once again, I'll be crocheting over these ends to kind of cover them up just for a little while. So single crochet in the next two. There's one and a two. Now we're going to single crochet two together in the next one, in the next two. So insert your hook, draw up a loop. In the next one, insert your hook, draw up a loop. Yarn over, draw through all three loops. Now we'll just repeat that. We're going to do one single crochet and two single crochet. There's two, and then we're going to single crochet two together. Insert your hook, draw up a loop. Insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through two. And then one last time. Single crochet, single crochet, and single crochet two together for our last two stitches. Now we get to slip stitch into the first one, and I'm going to pull this out just a little bit and set it down because we get to put some stuffing in her now. Yep, we're going to start to fill her up so she's a cute little plushy little candy corn. So you just need kind of a small handful, but let's see, I always end up needing a little more than I think I do. I think I only need a tiny bit, but then once I get it mashed in there, I find that I want a little more. But just grab your small handful or big handful and put some in there, and then a little more if you want. Let's see. You get to choose how much stuffing you want, depending on how squishy you want her, right? I'm going to add a tiny bit more in there. All right, now we're on round 11. And for this round, we're simply going to single crochet in each stitch around. And there should be 9 all together. So we're going to do our chain 1 and single crochet 9 times. So here's 1 and 2, here's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and slip stitch to the very first single crochet. Okay, now we have one last row. So for this row, this is round 12, we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to single crochet in the next, and then single crochet 2 together. So here's our 1 single crochet. Now we're going to single crochet 2 together. Insert your hook, draw up a loop, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. We're just going to repeat that 2 more times with our 1 single crochet and then a single crochet 2 together. Just like that. And last one, single crochet, and single crochet 2 together. Insert your hook, draw up a loop, insert your hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, and now we are all done. Slip stitch to that very first single crochet. Oh, where is it? There we go. And now you get to cut your yarn, and we are all done with our crochet hook, unless you want to use it for sewing. You can do that. So we're going to add just a little more stuffing to the top of her head. And there we go. Is that good? I think so. What do you think, Callie Corn? Does that feel good? I'm going to add just a smidge more. Okay, there we go. Now, you can either use your yarn needle to sew this together, or you can also use your crochet hook to just run your yarn across and through to close up the gap on the top of her head. You just want to run it like back and forth a few times. Like weave it through the top there. Oh, try not to pull out the stuffing. It's a little bit hard because, you know, we had to stuff her all the way through the top. But if you do pull out a little bit of stuffing, you can just either push it back in or pull it out. It's fine. And then once you've got her stitched up pretty well, let's see, you'll want to weave in your end. I'm going to pull this through one more time. And once that's all closed up there, you just want to weave your end down in through the center of her somewhere. So I like to just bring it down through, and then we can cut it off there. There. And now we get to make a cute little bow for her hair. So grab whatever color you got for her bow. I've got this little bit of purple. I'm trying to use up all my tiny little balls of yarn, right? And let's see, okay. We're going to just make a little slip knot. And we're just going to chain 5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to make a single crochet, and then a single crochet in the next 3 chains, so that you have 4 all together. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now, row 2 of our bow, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and now you're just going to single crochet in each stitch across. So you should have 4. So there's 1, here's 2, and a 3, and here is 4. And that is it, our little 2 row bow. And now just cut your yarn, and we're going to weave in these ends. And for this, I like to use a yarn needle. So I like to run it right under the bottom of my stitches of the bottom row for the beginning piece of yarn, and then run it through the bottom of round 2 for the finishing piece of yarn, just to make those ends disappear nicely. And then once you've done that, you can cut those ends off. Then we want to grab a little piece of this yarn, I'd say about 12 inches. Let's probably about right. And you're just going to tie it tightly through the middle of this little rectangle that we just made. So get it real centered and then pull it real tight. And then double knot it. So there's one. And then I'm going to do it again. Real tight. And then it should look kind of like a bow. Now, with these ends of the yarn, I'm going to wrap them around. I like to wrap one of them up twice and then wrap one of them down twice. So you've got them going different directions. Does that make sense? So this one you take one down and up and pull it tight, and then take the other one up to down. Then when you pull them both tight, they'll be on opposite sides so that you can tie it one more time. So first pull those tight, and then tie another knot. And that is our little bow. Oh, very cute. Okay. And then we just got to stitch that to her little head. So I just like to use the little ends. That's why we made this 12 inches long, so that you can use these ends now to stitch it onto her little head. So you can put it on whichever side or wherever you want. I'm going to put one on this side because my other calicorn has it on the other side. So, all right, and you just stitch it on however you like. I like to go through the little bow part so that it's secured, so it's not too floppy. And then with the other little end, I like to stitch that one through a couple times too. Where can I bring this one through? About right there. Then bring it down. And just bring it through there. Uh-oh, oh, I lost it. There. And then once you've brought it through a couple times, just take your two little pieces. I like to tie them again. And then just run the ends right through into Callie so they disappear. And then once your little knots disappeared, you can cut the little ends if they ran through the back. Oh, those ones did not. I don't think I pushed that through all the way. Okay, but you get the idea. So once you get the bow just how you like it, you just run your little ends through. I think I got that. Oh no, okay. I think it's definitely secured to her head and she looks super cute. Hey y'all, I'm Calicorn. Okay, and then here's her little twin friend. And then they have another little friend over here. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you had fun making cute little Callie candy corns. And I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye. Bye.